Project Power was directed by Henry Joost and Ariel Schumann and stars Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Dominique Fishback. And it tells the story of a pill that, when it's used, gives the user unpredictable superpowers for 5 minutes. It hits the streets of New Orleans, and it's up to a teenage dealer, a local cop, and an ex-soldier to stop the group responsible for its distribution. I'm going to start right off, guys, by saying I really enjoyed this movie right off the bat. Of course, this is distributed by Netflix, and of late, Netflix has been, giving us these types of action movies with a twist, whether it's something like Six Underground or Extraction, or the really terrible The Last Days of Crime in America, to now we have Project Power. This is something Netflix has been doing with varying degrees of success of late. But this is one of those that I am going to say that I really enjoyed. So let's get into it. And first of all, I'll start by saying I like the way superpowers are portrayed in this movie. I like the gimmick. I mean, right now, with powers movies being all over the place and television shows, it's starting to wear a bit thin. Even the shows that I enjoy, like for instance, Stargirl that just came out. I really want to get into it. And I think there's a lot of good stuff there, but I think I'm just burnt out. And it's not fair to the show, it's not fair to the actors, because it's not a bad show. I'm just burnt out on the show. So it's starting to feel like a chore watching what seems to be the same thing over and over again. So it's always refreshing when somebody finds a way to come at this stuff from a new angle, like what we're getting with The Boys. And here we have a story where it's a pill. It's a drug, basically. It lasts for 5 minutes, and you have no idea what your power would be when you get it. For some people, it could be really cool. It could be camouflage. You could become really strong, really fast. For others, you might just explode on the spot. So this is a mixed bag. And it also, it has that whole thing about drugs on a whole. It's a bit of a gamble getting into it. For some people, I guess they would say, oh, it was such a blast trying this or trying that. And for others, you could probably OD right on the spot, So you have that angle of it. But focusing on this, I really like the way the powers themselves look here. I think the visuals are really good and really strong, especially this is not like this mass huge budget type of film. I think what they did here and how they portrayed the powers looks pretty cool most of the time. There's a couple moments. There's one with a guy who gets like super gigantic, I should say, super strong, and he looks like that creature, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It doesn't look good. It's awful. But besides that, yeah, I like the way the powers are shown here, and I like the fact that you're not sure what's gonna happen when that person pops that pill. That is pretty cool. The special effects are also a bit reminiscent. They do some slow-mo stuff there that is reminiscent of Dread. The Carl Urban Dread, the good Dread movie. And yeah, I like that too. So like I said, they took what they had and they worked it. And they did a really good job with that. Now story-wise here, I'm gonna blend the story and the acting here, because I have to talk about both. Because this is one of those movies where the story itself is pretty much stuff you've seen before, with the exception of the whole angle with the superpowers. You get an ex-soldier, right? Cliched, I know. You get a cop, good guy, heart of gold kind of cop. You get and you get a kid. You throw a kid in the mix from the streets, that kind of thing, who's friends with the cop. We've seen all of these characters before. We've seen this type of story before, where they get together and they have to fight this evil conglomerate or this evil organization that is trying to do this thing, and they don't care who gets hurt in the process. We've seen all of this before. What makes it work, at least for me, what sold it for me, is the charisma of this cast. These three main people, Dominique Fishback, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Jamie Foxx. They take what could have been really, on paper, boring characters, and they add a sense of humor, they add a lot of heart, they add a lot of charisma, and they are the reasons to watch this movie. They carry this film. It's the only way I can describe this. Because take them out and put weaker actors in, and this would have been a meh type of film. And I know some people are probably going to say it is average anyway. I disagree. I think this movie it gets points because of these people. They elevate what's there. And Dominique Fishback, I really liked her character a lot. Now, sometimes you put kid characters and stuff, and they just annoy the hell out of you. Coffee and Kareem was a Netflix film that came out recently, and I have never in my life wanted to do physical harm to a child before seeing that character. Honestly, I could not stand that little boy, Kareem. He was the most unlikable person, and you're supposed to be rooting for him. Now here we have this character who is similar in some ways in terms of her background and that sort of stuff. But she's so smart. I love how smart she is. I love how the character, they don't need her superpowers is her intelligence and her tenaciousness, you know, and she never feels to me like a cliche. I honestly never got that from her. She was just this kid trying to do what she had to do to survive. There's this moment between her and Jamie Foxx that happens in the movie, and he basically asks her to show him what her power is, or he explains to her that is your power and how you can use that to elevate yourself. There's a really strong message in there for young black kids who are growing up in these difficult communities and who are growing up who don't have the one-ups that maybe some other kids in better neighborhoods and better situations do. I like that moment. I know some people might be like, oh, whatever. It's you know, they're trying to force a message down your throat. It did not feel like that for me because I think Jamie and Dominique handled the scene really well. It never felt like I was being forced to listen to a message. So guys, they are the ones that really elevate this story for me. Otherwise, what we have here is basically a by the numbers superhero movie with a twist. Granted, it's a fun twist. So all of that said, guys, this for me was a strong 6.5 out of 10. I had a lot of fun with this movie. Maybe I didn't expect that much going in, but like I said, it's all in the casting. They nailed the casting here, and these three very talented people took a meh story, not even meh, but a cliched story, and managed to make it engaging and entertaining all the way through. Yes, there are pacing issues in this. Yes, the script is bogged down by a few subplots here and there that really have no business being in this movie. But when that stuff is said and done, when they stick to the meat and potatoes of it all, this is a fun little film. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. And that's going to be it for Project Power, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. And when you've seen this movie, let me know what you thought of it. Did you think it was just another boring, average film? Or do you agree that the performances help make this film enjoyable, or more enjoyable than it would have been without these people? If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button. It's really appreciated, guys. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you could of course click on my face when it pops up over there. And for past videos, you can check that out right along that way. So until the next one, guys, bye bye.